Welcome back to the back nine of the Starkville Christmas Classic feature card. Here we're starting off on hole 10, par 3, 262 feet. It is a pretty short hole, and primarily what you want to do is throw it wide, throw an overstable disc nice and wide, and have it come crashing into the green, probably a zone or a pig or a toro, or pick your favorite overstable approach disc and throw it wide and have it come in at the basket. Edgar up first, showing us how it's done. Nice overstable disc, absolutely parked. Getting some props from the card there. John up now. Throwing this a little bit too straight, ending up in that brush where Kyle was at Dog Days. Hunter up now. Throwing this one really high. Unfortunately catching that tree, but thankfully kicking out of the brush. The brush is very thick. I just bought a Glowberg from Andy before the tournament, and I threw it on this hole and almost lost it the moment I threw it. Thankfully it was found. Sean up now. Throwing a very similar shot to Hunter, but throwing nice and wide, so they'll end up in a fantastic spot. And here's Noah. As you can hear, the wind is picking up, and it will not subside for the rest of round one, unfortunately. Throwing super wide, spiking in at the green, should be in a good spot. Hunter with the very fortunate rollout. We'll have a look at the two. Giving this a full committed bid, sailing over the basket. He'll have a little bit of a comeback for the three. Here's John for the two. Just a little low. You can hear him sigh in disappointment at that effort. I feel that. Noah for his two. Staying in by the skin of its teeth. Finally having a little bit of a comeback here. Card in the two. Edgar with his tap in too. And Sean, realizing that he maybe has CTP here, almost trying to walk it off before putting it in. Definitely put it in first. And
somebody else want to step in? So
he didn't realize that Hunter was behind him the whole time, so he did not realize that he was affecting pace of play while he was doing this, but not a big deal. Yeah, he got CTP here by like an inch. Here he is, he's going to sit down just in front of Hunter. It's hilarious that he doesn't notice. John tapping in his three. And this is, I had to leave this in. I didn't want to cut this out. This was so funny. He just didn't realize. Hunter tapping in his two. It's just so funny. On to hole 11, par 3, 387 feet. OB Creek here to the left. There will be a marked line, and then OB parking lot to the right, kind of wrapping around the all around the basket there. We saw Kyle Gray park this with a destroyer during Dog Days, so let's see what these players can do. Edgar up first. And as you can hear, the wind is absolutely blustering. Throwing this one pretty high and a little bit too far to the left. And he will unfortunately skip OB into that OB creek. Sean up now. And definitely scared by that OB stroke, and instead throwing a little bit too flippy.
I think I did something like that the first time I played you.
Over to the right side there. Yeah, talking about how he didn't trust the disc to do what he wanted it to. Noah up now. Also throwing a bit wide. And it was really overcast today, so it was very difficult for me to follow a lot of these discs once they got up to the cloud line. So I do apologize for the poor camera work here. John also throwing something a little bit too flippy. Out of his hand, he almost immediately turned around and was like, "Ah, disgust!" But he'll be in a fine spot to give it a layup, because it's an absolute death putt. If you try and run it, you'll incur an OB stroke, which we saw Corwin do during dog days. Hunter also throwing a little bit wide, but should be in a fine spot. Probably give it a safe run for the two. Sean just laying up. A little bit disappointed with how short he did it. Or threw it, excuse me. Here's Noah for his approach shot, just a little bit further up from Sean. Nice little forehand flick here. Should be in a great spot to guard the two. Or, excuse me, three. Here's Hunter from probably 30 or so feet. No, this is more like 50, never mind. Ignore me. Giving it a nice safe run, he should have an easy three there. John just pitching up. It's absolutely a death putt if you miss your putt. Here's Edgar for the par save. And just a little overcommitted going over the basket there. Noah for his three.
Good putt.
Nice center putt. Not losing any more strokes on this hole. Sean for his three. Just a little bit low. Unfortunate drop-in bogey there. Edgar for his bogey. Hunter for his three. Hunter. Can't pronounce his name. And John, excuse me, to tap in his three, and Sean for his drop-in bogey. On to hole 12, par 4, 673 feet. This is the longest hole that we have on the course here. OB Creek to the right of the basket the whole time. If you cross, or if you go over, then you will throw from wherever you went inside, but no OB to the left as far as I'm aware. Noah up first, putting a lot of zip on this, unfortunately carrying over into the OB. All kinds of power, but unfortunately just not the right line. I kicked the camera stand, so it shook, which was nice. John up now. Throwing extremely conservatively here. Never had a chance to go OB. And in an amazing stroke of great camera work, I didn't see it at all because it was so overcast. that it just disappeared in the clouds for me, but it ended up further over to the left. Here's Hunter up now. Stop shaking the camera, damn it. Come on, man. This is your first time?
Yep. Skaboom.
And this ended up in a great spot, as we cannot see. Great camera work, Jacob. Good job. No, it was really bright. I had such a hard time seeing anything over here. Here's Edgar up now with a great color disc to find when it's really bright and sunny and overcast. And off it goes into the tree. And he'll drop down right there. Not OB, thankfully. But not the result you would like. Sean up now. Out of his hand, he wasn't super happy with it. This ended up further to the left.
Right. If I was going for safety, it worked.
Here we have Edgar. Putting some nice snap into this one, and I zoomed in all the way over to the left for some reason. But not far enough to catch the shot. So he'll be in a good spot. Here's Sean now, going lightning fast. Ending up a bit short of where you would like to be for the 2. But he'll have an approach for the 3. Or for the 4. A layup for the 4. Talk. Here's John up now. And if he had done this off the tee, it would have been a great shot. But unfortunately, as this is an approach to the basket, this is not a good shot. This is way too far to the left. Here's Noah from where he went OB. And burning it into the ground, unfortunately, leaving it very, very short. Here's Hunter from his drive, I want to say. Throwing a hyzer over the OB. And ending up pretty far left, so he'll have a death putt for the 3 or an easy layup for the 4. Here's Edgar. Laying up for his par. Nice little layup run, I should say. Here's Sean. I believe this is his penny putter in glow plastic. I felt this thing, they feel really good. I'm not sponsored, but man, I really want to get one now. John took no time to just flick this thing up there and put himself in a great spot to get the 4. Hunter for the 3. I believe this is for 3. Great line, just a little bit low. Noah, I believe, for the par save here. We missed a shot, so that might have been for bogey. It's really hard to follow along 5 people on such a big field. So I missed a shot here, unfortunately, because I'm a failure. Edgar for the par, I believe. Nice and center here. Sean for his par. Nice and centered as well, right up against the pole. John from behind the basket. Thankfully not OB. That would be sad. Good for his 4 as well. And Noah with a very unfortunate double bogey. And Hunter to tap in his 4. Moving on to hole 13, par 3, 256 feet. Excuse me, OB. No OB as far as I know, except for the road, which you'd have to really shank your shot to get that far, but mandatory to the left of this oak tree that we're coming on the right here, so most of our players are probably going to opt for a forehand to get through the gap. We saw Sean throw a roller during dog days, so maybe he'll see something like that. John up first, opting for that forehand. And he'll end up in a great spot with a 30 or so feet look at the 2. Hunter up now. Throwing nice and high to control the distance and have it come crash down towards the basket. He'll be in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, you were
I need to grease my chair or something. It's really creaky. Here's Edgar. Also opting for that forehand. And pushing this one really long. I expected this to be further to the right, but it is much further to the left than I zoomed in on. He'll have a 80 or so foot look at the 2. So probably an up and down for par. There's Sean opting for the backhand putter. Ending up just at the gap. He'll have a look at the 2. And Noah with the unfortunate double bogey bringing up the bottom of the box. And missing the mandatory, and he will proceed to the drop zone, unfortunately. Here he is from the drop zone. Trying to get the par save, but leaving it a bit long. Here's Edgar. Getting a 2 with the wind, absolutely decimating the audio. Amazing 2. Here's Sean for his look at the birdie. Edgar was so quiet this whole time, I didn't realize actually how well he was doing. And Sean leaving this a bit wide with a really rude roll away, so they'll have a little bit of a tester. John for the 2. He's good for it. Yeah, but Edgar just like was quiet the whole time. I didn't realize how well he was doing this whole time. And the wind did not like Hunter, and it just did not want him to succeed. Just a little bit too far to either side. I couldn't really tell, to be honest with you. So he'll have the tap in 3. Noah for his bogey save. Ooh, just a bit low, and he'll have 15 or so footer for the double bogey here. Sean for his 3. Just a little bit low. Really unfortunate to card a bogey or worse on this hole. Noah good for his double bogey. I guess you'd call that a double bogey save, but Sean tapping in his bogey and Hunter for his par. On to hole 14, par 3, 287 feet. This OB little culvert here, I guess you'd call it, is OB in fact, as the name would imply. But it is a fairly open hole. John up first, opting for the forehand. Ending up in a pretty good spot. I think he's about 20 feet long. I almost missed this shot because I wasn't paying attention, so that's why we see him mid-throw. Here's Edgar up now. Opted for the nice backhand hyzer. And he will be in a fantastic spot for the 2. Here's Hunter. Also opting for that backhand hyzer play. Getting a nasty skip. He'll be in a little bit of a puddle, or a muddy spot, I guess you'd call it, because it's not really a lot of water. He'll have a little bit of a tester for his birdie. Here's Sean.
Wow.
Throwing this one really early, really late, or early release, ending up OB over the walking path. I forgot to mention the walking path is OB. Sorry about that. And Noah is Bob, bottom of the box. Giving us a nice run here. And he'll end up pretty long, actually. Blasted this thing down. Here's Sean for his par save. Giving this a decent run, but just leaving it a bit wide. This is Edgar for the 2. Unfortunately, not making any magic happen like he did in the last hole. But a friendly little roll towards the basket, so not too much of a tester. Here's Noah. Noah and Edgar both went pretty long. Noah with a great run, catching a little bit of change, but it was just too high. Wouldn't have stuck unless it was dead center. Here's Hunter from that mud pit. Nice committed putt here. That beeping was my low blood sugar alarm. That'll make another cameo. Here's John for his 2. Just a little bit low. A little undercommitted. Noah for his par. Just a little bit low, and that was just the rudest rollaway ever. Now this is for bogey. Nice dead center putt for bogey. If only you could have the same confidence as like this tester bogey putt as you do for the birdie putt. You'd make everyone, wouldn't you? Edgar for his par. Good for it. Sean for his bogey with that OB stroke. And John to finish out with the par. Hole 15, par 3, 245 feet. Pretty open shot to begin with, but as you get closer to the basket, the trees get denser and denser and denser. Lots of windows to hit though, so not a horrible hole when it comes to trees. So just kind of pick a gap and hope for the best, or just be good. But my strategy is always hope for the best. Hunter opting for this forehand left side. He'll end up in a fantastic spot for the 2. John up now. Opting for this forehand left side as well. Leaving this one a bit wide. Wider than you prefer anyway. Although I prefer parts, so, you know. Literally a tap in. Here's Edgar now. Also opting for this forehand play. And getting this mean kick off the tree. Sean opting for this backhand. Probably going to throw the right side unless he throws a turnover. But yeah, opting for the straight route. Okay. I definitely forgot that. And getting a fantastic result from it. He will be parked. Noah opting for the hyzer route here. And just kicking off a late tree there, but that was going to be long anyway, so. Here we have Edgar. Giving this a little bit of a bid. But easy 3 there. Nature. Here's Hunter. Nice putt from Hunter. Really on a birdie train now. Here's Noah for his 2. Just leaving this one a bit wide. Had the height, but just not the line. John tapping in his 2. Edgar with the 3. Sean with the tap-in birdie from the amazing drive. Noah for his par. Pretty high, but it still went in. Moving on to hole 16, par 4, 597 feet. The first shot is more important for placement than it is for distance. You probably only need to throw about 250 or 300 feet or so just to get to a place where you can get around the corner here. And then you want to throw a nice hyzer over these trees and have it land at the basket is ideally how you would draw it up. And Kyle Gray making an appearance here. I didn't think he'd make it, but there he is. Hunter there, throwing with Kyle Gray next to the tee box. The cameo of my alarm again. Hunter ending up in a pretty decent spot, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's really hard to see that far down there. Here's John now. Kyle Gray still next to the tee box watching. Zoom in a little bit faster next time, maybe, Jacob. Come on, man. What is this, amateur hour? Here's Sean now. And he will end up next to one of those little trees, which is very unfortunate because it really impedes your run up a lot. Here's Edgar now. I don't know why Kyle didn't move. Opting for the hyzer route here. This looks like it's coming in nicely. Should be just around that corner, I believe. And finally there's Noah, or shall I say Bob. Noah Bob Honeycutt. What a freaking cool last name. My gosh. It's just so cool. And bombing this one out here. This guy has all kinds of distance. Here we have Edgar up first, just short of this OB culvert. The culvert is OB. Also the walking path, but the drainage ditch up ahead is not OB. And he'll end up a little bit short of where he'd like. Here's John. He'll end up about pin high, but in the little ditch. Oh no, he's like 30 feet short. Never mind. My memory's not what it's supposed to be. I'm just like, I think he was here. No, wait, never mind, he was over there. And here's Sean. you see just up against this tree, he's like, ah, what do I do? What do I do? We're about to see a unicorn. You know he's out of ideas when he opts for the tomahawk. Unfortunately, this is going to end up pretty far left. He will still be on the left side of the trees, which is far from ideal. Here we have Edgar, I believe. Oh no, that's Hunter. I'm sorry. And this hole is just really hard to film because these trees are in the way, so I'm sorry for the camera work, but there's nothing I can do about it. Here's Noah. I think he went OB on this hole, but I could be wrong. I may be thinking of another round. And by another round, I mean the only other round that we had here. Round 2. Here's Sean. And this will end up in a pretty decent spot. He'll be on the right side of the trees with a... of course, there's hopefully the final alarm. We have John with his approach shot. Excuse me, a little bit flustered. Pardon me. Hard to follow along with what's going on. Here's Edgar for his approach. A little bit of a sloping green, so don't really want to give it a full run, otherwise you risk a roll away. Noah. Nice committed putt, great height, just having trouble keeping it centered. He's got all kinds of distance, but his putting can use a little bit of work, if today is any indicator. Here's Hunter for the 3. Well worth the wait.
Yeah.
Great 3 from Hunter. Edgar with the bogey, I believe that is. Sean with the par. Noah with the bogey. And John with the par. Bringing us to hole 17. Hole 17, par 3, 299 feet. This is almost a dead straight shot, but there's a lot of danger to the left and to the right. OB road to the right, and then just a lot of really low trees that love to grab discs and stop them dead. The drone footage taken at a different season, so the crepe myrtles are not quite as blooming as that. Hunter up first. Throwing a great line here. Being a fantastic spot for the 2. John up second. Throwing this out a little too wide, catching some of that tree, and these trees are super thick and just stop discs dead in their tracks. Sean up third. Sean throwing a good line here, and he will be probably about 10 feet from the basket. Edgar now. Throwing a great line here as well, and he will be right next to Sean. And Noah, unfortunately, still stuck at the back of the box. Throwing a great line here, but it's just a little bit wide. should be only about 20 or so feet at his look at 2. Here's John from probably 40 or so feet. Good bid here. Easy 3. Here's Noah. There were some bikers who were talking extremely loudly, which is why he takes this pause. And that little huff was me going, because it was funny that they were so loud. I don't know. No, unfortunately not able to connect on the birdie putt. Hunter for his look at 2. From about the same distance, so probably a couple feet closer. Nice dead center putt here, as we've come to expect from Hunter. Sean letting Noah tap out his par here. Noah good for his 3. Thankfully not carding the bogey, but still losing some strokes to the card here. Sean and Edgar tapping in their 2s, and John to tap in his 3. And the final hole, hole 18, par 3, 395 feet. Not the easiest hole, also probably not the hardest. I don't have any stats to bring to you, but OB, parking lot to the left, OB, I think the creek to the right, but I hope nobody throws that terrible of a shot. Here's Hunter up first. Throwing nice and wide, and having it come crashing in towards the basket. Should be in a pretty good spot here. Sean up next. And then I believe it's Edgar. Sean getting a great line on this. I really wish I zoomed in closer so that we could see it better, but hey, this is fine. I love to have to guess where everything's landing. Like I suspected, Edgar coming up 3rd. Throwing a very nicely visible disc, thankfully. Calling for it to ace.
So short, dude. Wasn't even close.
Sean giving him a little bit of a razz, but all in good fun. It is ostensibly parked. Ostensibly. Here's John. Throwing a pretty nice line here. He'll be in a fantastic spot. Should be a tap-in par. I mean, probably a tap-in par, but also a tap-in birdie if he really wanted it, you know. And Noah, still Bob. Throwing this one pretty high, but he has all kinds of distance, so he'll end up a little bit short though. Here's Hunter from like 10 feet past the basket, so absolutely smashed this drive. Unfortunately, a little overcommitted on the putt. We have John for the 2. Where did Noah land? I thought he landed shorter than this. And John undercommitted. Oh no, he was long. Never mind. I just don't know what I'm talking about. Noah from like 25 feet. Just not able to connect on these putts. He's had looks this whole time, but just not able to connect on them. Edgar for the 2. Very nice 2 for him. Currently leading by like 3 strokes for the tournament. And Sean for the 2. Putting him at tied 4th place currently, I believe. Some great showings from our card. Should see, well, I mean, I know we'll see Edgar on our lead card. Should also have Sean and Hunter. Unfortunately, Noah and John not to follow us, but hopefully you'll follow us to round 2 of the Starkville Christmas Classic.